you doing?
Yo.
Welcome back to Leather Helmet Sports Podcast. As usual, it's me and my brother Josh on the mics going over our favorite picks for the sports book world of sports online gambling. It's been quite a while to do this intro.
Long explanation
of
how sportsbook works.
Yeah. But we're going to change it up a little bit this year, maybe even make some adjustments throughout the year on how we want to do the layout of these videos. And we're just going to do our 3 favorite picks. So that way it's more fast-paced and to the point. And then that way you can get your picks in, trail us, or let us know whatever your picks are. Real fast before we get into it, please like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Everything and anything helps, especially sharing, because sharing is caring and it gets our name out. Let's get right into the picks. Josh, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I'll start off. So before we even start off, do you have any takeaways? I mean, this is kind of off the top of your head from week 1.
There's a bunch of
things
takeaways.
That surprised you, or I guess you would say, or didn't surprise you.
Yeah, I would say the main things are that the main teams look like the top teams look like the top teams still, I would say.
Yeah, but I mean, there's still upsets. I would say, people were more expecting Jets.
Yeah, that's definitely something. But I just mean, whoever
Falcons.
was in the late playoffs, NFC Championship and all that.
Yeah,
those are still the dudes to beat this year.
Yeah, all the well-coached teams are
right,
still
exactly.
solid.
I think it's also very crazy that Harrison, obviously I drafted him this year.
Yeah, first round, second
only
round.
got 1 catch, I believe, and only 4 targets.
Yeah,
which is insane where he was getting drafted, and then that's his first game.
I think it's
Obviously,
more insane. Not even just that, because his draft capital is crazy. You would be oh, let's work him in some more, but
yeah, they just didn't care. But
I don't know. It was a high scoring game too.
It's Cardinals, so everything about their organization is questionable and it's been questionable. So
yeah,
I don't really know. I'm not going to put too much emphasis to it. But other than that,
I mean, there's a couple things Bo Nix threw 43 times for
yeah, he looked bad.
Yards.
I was high on him this year. As far as being the underdog, because he just didn't get talked about much and was going under the radar. But
we didn't get to do any of our fantasy podcasts, but one of my sleepers is gonna be J.K. Dobbins. So
yeah,
probably don't believe me. But
I'm also very hyped that we're finally, with how many years we've been speaking up James Cook, he's finally coming to fruition and actually showing up.
Yeah,
and they're actually giving him the work to hey, run it in.
I was actually even looking at Josh Allen props this week, and I was just looking at their offense, and it's crazy how much it changed under Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator, I believe his name is.
Yeah.
The new one. He started week 9 of last year, and just their run game is so much more apparent compared to, and they're running.
Yeah,
so.
Definitely. And I mean, I also saw Josh Allen speak on it on a interview or a conference meeting.
Post conference.
Yeah. Saying oh, James Cook's been begging for end zone targets or red zone targets or red zone opportunities, just general, over and over and over, and now we're finally giving it to him.
It's no, just kidding. I'm going to take the ball and run it in. Screw you.
He's oh,
dude, that's how I felt first game.
For this long and
I didn't throw it out there, but I had James Cook in my personal bets for anytime TD first week. I'm watching the game oh yeah, they're at the end zone, they're real close.
And
Josh Allen, 2 touchdowns. I'm get the hell out of here.
There's nothing really.
Saquon did his thing.
Yeah, Eagles look great with Saquon in. As far as offensive, defensive wise, they still look
hurt
crap.
Though he just got hurt.
No, I did not see anything about AJ Brown, but
you're gonna lose.
Not on my team, so I don't care. All right, let's get right into the picks. You can go first.
Yeah, so I'll start it off. I got Justin Jefferson under 80.5 receiving yards, negative 114 odds, so pretty much even normal. And 2 units on this. My thought really is just I have no faith in Sam Darnold. This man, he's been in the league for, I think, 5 years now, and he's been doo-doo. So I do not care. He had a good game last week. He was playing the Giants secondary, trash ball.
And Jefferson only
Daniel
got,
Jones
60?
couldn't keep them on the field for more than freaking 10 seconds. They probably had more 3-and-outs than I don't even know. Just overall trash game. made him look way better than he is. So Sam Darnold's just a 49ers pass rush. Yeah, okay. Dude's going to get sacked. He's going to see Ghost again. He's going to – I think his last 3 years, and he was in his starting games, he would average, I think, like 12 over like a whole season if he played. 12 touchdowns, like 7 to 12. I'm like, what? This dude sucks. So, I mean, Jefferson, I'm not hating on him. He's one of the best receivers, so if you chuck it out to him, maybe. But I just don't see Jefferson as like a Tyreek Hill. He can't adjust 5-10 yards to get the pass. Like he needs.
Yeah, he doesn't got that speed like Hill does.
He needs separation somewhat, and on top of that, he's not giving enough time to throw down the field, in my eyes. So I don't see a lot of big chunk plays, and Jefferson's not a guy who's gonna break a billion tackles. So
yeah,
80 is still pretty high. I mean, that's probably top 5 like highest lines for all receivers right now. So I'm definitely hitting that under 2 units. What you got?
To move on, my first one, I got DeMarcus Robinson over 41.5 receiving yards. Obviously, we all know Puka Nacua got hurt. Now he's on the IR, I believe. So there's not really.
Well, I don't know if he is, but
yeah,
definitely trending that way.
I'm pretty sure he got put on already. But there's not really much other receivers that can do what Puka and Kupp does. However, they pass a lot. They have been running a good amount, though, with Kyron coming into their team last year. But they still love to pass it. I would say definitely more Stafford loves to pass it than McVay just in general. But I think McVay is a very smart coach, and he wants to handle the games how he wants to handle it. But I know that Stafford loves to pass it. Either way, the main thing that stuck out to me about this bet is in games he's played, DeMarcus Robinson's played 40% or more with the Rams. He's went 7 out of 8 games, so pretty much 100%. He's hit this number. But if you look at his numbers too, it's all very close, like 45, 48, something like that. But the good part is majority of the time he's gone over. The bad part is Stafford's passing yards per game was 265 with 35 attempts per game last year. But versus the Cardinals, he takes down 20 yards average and goes down to 28 attempts.
That's probably because they usually dominated the Cardinals.
Yeah, I didn't really take a deep dive into the head-on-head Cardinals games. All I know is that his pass attempts dropped significantly, and there could be multiple reasons for that. But it's also a division matchup, so obviously Cardinals could play harder and they want to win the game more than other games. So there's a lot that plays into it. However, I just feel like with them losing Puka Nacua, and usually it's just Cooper Kupp or Puka, they finally had, towards the end, I believe, both healthy last year, and they just hyper-targeted both of them over and over and over. And then even this last game, you saw them both getting hyper-targeted. The second Puka went off, then they started spreading it to Jefferson, I believe, is the other wide receiver. Johnson, there you go. And then DeMarcus Robinson.
And Parkinson,
yeah,
rookie, but
Robinson and Johnson got like 7 targets, I believe, each. The second Puka went out. And DeMarcus Robinson's been with this team for 2 or 3 years now, I believe. So whenever McVay talks about him in press conferences, he says that it's Cooper Kupp, DeMarcus Robinson, and then we got 3 other dudes, basically saying, like, these are our 2 main guys. This is who we're going to game script around, and then these other 3 guys need to step up when they do have the opportunity, meaning they're only going to get 4 to 5 targets max, and that's only to Johnson.
Like a really reliable wide receiver 3.
Yeah.
Compare him to like a Juwan Jennings on the 49ers or like a Tyler Boyd.
Right.
Just really solid hands. My only concern is, like, I feel like he needs 5 targets to hit this line, minimum.
Right. And
targets, not receptions.
And I think he will get the 5 targets easily. Plus, on the other positive side, Cardinals are actually favored, and they're at home, meaning that if for whatever reason the books are correct and they go up, then that means they're going to be passing more as well instead of running more. So that's obviously good for him. But like you said, it's about the targets. But when the team talks about it, it's Kupp and Robinson. It's not Kupp and then four
kind of makes me think. I mean, I didn't look at it, but Kyron's line, I'd kind of be interested in his receiving line. But
I don't know about his receiving, but his rushing is extremely high considering.
I don't like rushing right now. The offensive line's shot.
Right. And plus, James Cook just got held to 3.7 yards per carry on 19 attempts versus the Cardinals.
Yeah, they're underrated.
Right. But, like, we know what Cook can do. We know he can get in the 4 or 5s for yards per carry. So the fact that they did that to him, I could see them holding back Kyron Williams as well. So either way, I'm going to take it. Robinson, 41 over receiving yards for 1 unit.
Nice.
What you got?
All right, so going back to what I was talking about earlier, my man in my fantasy going to win me this league once again. J.K. Dobbins going over 55.5 rushing yards, negative 114 odds for 2 units. Honestly, I think this line is it's not crazy disrespectful, but I think it's a little disrespectful.
You think it's disrespectful? I think it's high.
No, I think it's a little disrespectful just because everybody who plays fantasy knows Gus was drafted higher. He was hyped up a little bit more, blah, blah, blah. I actually like Gus I like both these guys on the Ravens. Like, I just like their talent. But Gus is the one struggling still with his injury.
Right.
If you look at any training camp video, like you can YouTube it right now, when they're doing running back reps, all you see is J.K. Dobbins look like he's just cutting fast. Looks like a nice, agile running back and hits holes quick. You watch Gus, it looks like I didn't even know there was a slower Derrick Henry, but it looks like Derrick Henry even slower.
He's always been slow.
But it's
a brute.
Power I know you're saying, but like the difference is like he is zero. It's practice, whatever. But you're supposed to move like you are in the game in practice, and he looks like probably the slowest running back I've ever watched in the NFL right now. Now he could get healthier as the year goes on, but I still think he's playing through the injury and trying to recover as he's playing. And you could see even in the first game, like, they played the hot hand, and he got way more. I don't know how many more carries, but definitely more carries. Did a lot more with it. Some people are like, oh, well, he got most of his yards on a breakaway run. I'm like, yeah, because that's what he's good at, and he can hit holes hard. So I just am a strong believer in their offense now with, is it Jim or John? Jim, right? Harbaugh. I always confuse him and his brother.
It's John.
What's up? It's Jimmy. It's fucking Jimmy.
But I just really believe in his new running scheme. I think it worked out really well on the goal line. I think it worked out everywhere. The holes look good. So, and the best part is they get the worst rushing defense, well, really worst team right now in the NFL, the Panthers, to play against. Yeah. Who did they just play last week? That ran all over them.
Chargers versus...
No, Panthers versus...
you're talking about who ran over the Panthers.
Yeah.
Every team's going to run over the Panthers.
So Saints. It was the Saints. And we had, I'll just pull it up right here. So Kamara had 15 carries for 83 yards. Jamal Williams, who's really old as butt cheeks, had 11 carries for 38 yards. And Taysom Hill had 5 carries for 35 yards. So, like, almost every 5 yards per carry.
To be honest, I'm curious why those numbers aren't even higher considering the game was 47-10, though. Like, I feel
because they had, what do you mean? They had Jay Mims in. They put all these backups in.
They got 4 carries plus.
Yeah, like
they got 5. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. It
was
probably would have been juiced.
Blown out the water before the first half.
Yeah.
But all I'm saying is their Panthers offense sucked and their defense is butt cheeks, which it was last year too. So I love J.K. Dobbins. I love this line. Not going to say anything because I don't want to jinx it. There's like only one way I see this not hitting, and I'm not saying it. So we're going 2 units on it.
All right, I like it. All right, moving into my second one, I got Cortland Sutton, another weird name.
All over the place.
But this one I took is under 42.5 receiving yards at -113 for 1 unit. They play the Steelers, and the Steelers secondary and just defense people are going to start being like, damn, this is like the old Steelers of, I won't even say steel curtain days, but I would say like 2017, 2018, somewhere around there, because they just got the addition of Dante Jackson, which we got from trading Deontay Johnson, and then we got Elliott for the safety. So the secondary is finally up to par compared to our linebackers and our front. So now we really have a well-balanced defense. And when you have the second year, I think, maybe even third year now, corner for us, I can't think of his name now. Poyer? Yeah, obviously not. Joey Porter. There we go. Obviously, with him guarding Cortland Sutton, and then the rookie Bo Nix going 26 for 42, like you just talked about earlier. Complete trash, only getting 138 yards. Throwing the ball 42 times is insane. And now you're going up against a pass rush of the Steelers with the front end linebackers that are literally stacked like no other. If you run through like the depth chart, you're just like, yeah, this dude's just going to get fucking pressed. So I can see him checking down over and over to his running backs, which they're horrible, to be honest, and their tight ends. But I believe their one tight end's hurt. Did they have Feint? Do they still have Feint? No Feint?
No. He's
gone?
Seahawks.
Okay. Oh, yeah, he did move over. Either way, I see him checking it down because he's just going to get blasted by the linebackers and the pass rush of the Steelers. So I don't think Cortland Sutton's going to get any more than 4 targets, to be honest.
Oh, fuck. He had
5
12 last game.
I know. 5 max. This is a completely different team that
Did
they're
they play
playing.
last week?
It's a good question. I don't know. You can look it
Hold up.
But either way, it's all about this defense that I'm riding the Steelers, and this game has the lowest over-under at 38 right now, so there's also not much scoring opportunity, and they did play Seahawks last week,
secondary.
And Seahawks secondary is good, but their pass rush is not even close to Steelers' pass rush. But like I said, I would say that Seahawks secondary is even worse than Steelers secondary this year. Last year I would not say that, but this year everyone will see why I say that the Steelers are better than Seahawks secondary, and their pass rush is even better. So
I remember the beginning.
Either way,
of the
I see
year,
them locking them down.
I don't really love futures, but at the beginning of the year, I was looking at the lines for last team to be not lawless, unbeaten, whatever, a perfect record, undefeated, and Steelers odds were like between like who they played in the first 7-8 weeks, and their odds were like plus 3,500. Like, I might pick them.
Yeah,
like it's definitely a risky pick with Justin Fields and Russell Wilson, but I was like, oh, they might do it.
I don't even know who else they have, but all I know is I think they're going to start off 2-0, which you asked me in the beginning of the year, do I think we're going to be starting off season 2-0? I'm going to say no 1,000 times.
You're going to start 5-0, honestly, 4-0, 5-0.
Like I said, I didn't look. I don't remember the schedule. I probably looked at it once time, and then.
I mean, I love the Steelers defense. I just feel like this line's a tad low to be taken under. Strictly only because if he's going to get the top targets, and for whatever reason they're going to let Nix throw 42 times, like 12 targets. I'm sorry.
That's the thing is,
even if you get 8 targets is hard not to hit that line.
There's a reason this game is so low on the over-under. It's because Steelers' deep offense is also trash, and we're not going to move the ball either. So it's literally, it's not like they have to throw to catch up.
Benched? What if Nix gets benched? His line instantly.
I'm pretty sure the other dude
Stidham's
is, what's his name? Stidham. Yeah, Stidham's horrible. Get the hell out of here. Whoever their third string is better. I remember watching during the preseason. I forget who it is now.
Isn't it? What's his name? Freaking Zach. It's Zach Wilson's bro.
There you go. I'll take Zach Wilson.
Sucks. Stidham's way better.
Either that or Zappy, one of the two.
Stidham's better.
Either way, like you were just talking about too, if he's getting all these targets, cool. He got 12 targets versus Seahawks last week, and he only caught 4 of them. Like, he might get targeted, but these balls might be complete ass because Bo Nix is literally just going to get pressed like no other from Steelers defense. So I'm going to take it with the 1 unit, and Steelers will show up for me once again like they always do defensive-wise. Offensive-wise, they never show up for me, but we'll stay away for that for a little bit. You want to move to your last and final favorite pick?
Yeah, sure. So I don't have great luck or track record with these type of bets, but we're going to roll with it because I like all these 3. It's going to be a teaser. So you're adding 10 points to all of these original spread lines. So when you add the 10 points, you get 49ers plus 4, They play the Vikings, so should be an easy dub. Texans get +3.5. They are playing the Bears, who put up less than 100 passing yards last week. And Gale Williams, Keenan Allen's probably going to be out. Odunze is out. So, I don't know how the Texans lose.
No, I don't think they'll lose.
And Rams, this is probably the toughest game. But when you add 10 points, you get Rams +11.5 versus the Cardinals. Yes, I was just talking bad about the Rams because they are hurt. Their O-line is on the third string at left tackle.
Yeah, they're swapping dudes in and out.
Yeah, so don't trust the line, but I trust the coaching. I trust Stafford if he stays in healthy enough to at least manage the game and stay within a fighting chance of maybe taking the win. I mean, they're originally almost even with the Cardinals right now. So I actually did like the Rams defense in week 1.
Oh, yeah, so did I.
So they
I
look
think
surprisingly better than I thought they would.
Their pass rush is still good.
So hopefully they can keep that pressure up, stay on the field long enough to keep the game close. But you put all of them together in a teaser, so it's like 2 locks and 1 semi-lock. You get -120 odds for those 3 together, and I'm going to put 3 units on that. So my biggest bet of the week right here.
All right. Moving on to my last and final favorite pick. I got Malik Willis backup that used to be on Titans and now is on Green Bay after Love went down. That was one thing that was weird. Love went down, and I was like, oh, this dude's going to be out for a few weeks. And now, up until game, he was questionable. I don't even know if he's still questionable, but
see a punk. He went out of the Eagles game because he lost.
I was like, what's going on here? Like, I thought he was actually hurt. Is he still going to play or something? But either way, Malik Willis, if anyone knows of him, he's pretty much a running quarterback. He has been since college. Came into 2021 or 2022. I believe it was 21. He hasn't really got the starting job ever, unfortunately, behind Ryan Tannehill and then
behind Love.
Mayo Boy. But unfortunately, whatever opportunity he's had, he's done very well as far as the running game goes, and that's just kind of how he is. So hopefully they don't take that away from him, and even if they do take it away from him, then hopefully he just takes it in his own hands because a play breaks down and he doesn't see anything open, he just runs for it. But I'm going to take that over 29.5 rushing yards at 3 units. He started only 3 games, and in those 3 games, he's gone over twice. So like I said, he's never really got the starting role. He has started games, though, and his 3, he's gone over twice. He's gotten 12 yards the first time, then 40 yards, then 43 yards. So it's even more the fact that it's not just hitting just at the 30, but it's going well and beyond the 30 rushing yards. The games that we did get to see him start, like, oh, this is going to be our starter going into the week, not just coming off of another quarterback being hurt, is the preseason. So that's not really much to go off of. But it's the fact that he's gone 6 out of 9 in the preseason as well, going 29 yards, 30 yards, 42 yards, 17, 91, 22, 79, 42, 38. So like I said, it's not like...
That's the preseason?
Yeah. Preseason, he's gone 6 out of 9. He's gone over this number. And like I said, it's not even the fact that when he goes over this, it's like, oh, it's right there around the 30. He just excels right past it and goes over. They are playing, who are they playing again?
They're playing the Colts.
The Colts. And Colts actually looked pretty defensive or pretty good offensively last week, and I think they will as well this week, especially if Richardson, cross my fingers, stays healthy. They can run the ball a lot, meaning that I could see them easily being up, and Malik Willis is going to have to come from behind, which means you have to throw more. And being a bad quarterback that's never taking over the starting role, I could see him having to break away and run because he doesn't see any options that are open, even if options are open, just because he's a bad thrower. But they also only, where are we at? Colts were 24th in rushing yards per game last year, and the first week of the year they let up 213 yards to Houston, which Houston's a heavy pass team. So obviously that tells you that even though Colts can give up a bunch of rushing, that it's obviously something that they'll let happen more than the passing game because Malik Willis can't throw, plus Malik Willis can run. So all I see them is the only way to beat this Colts team is by running it. Given to Josh Jacobs, honestly, I like Josh Jacobs' number as well. If you want to take his over instead, go for it. But the only way to beat this Colts team, or the only way to stay in this game, is by running it. You also have, like I just said, Love. Apparently, he won't be missing much time, so they might be going in this game saying, hey, let's just walk away with this win, or let's get 2 more wins. So that way, once Love comes back, we're not 0-2, 0-3, because they already lost the first week, so there's no reason for them to try to be a hero and run down or pass deep bombs down the field and try to, like, easily win this game. I think it's more or less them just game scripting to sneak away with this game, which comes in the running game. Packers are home. They are the dogs, and they'll have to fight. If they are behind, I could see Malik was running, like I said before. But yeah, either way, I see him getting enough opportunity to run and get this yardage, more or less about plays breaking down the field, and he can't get the ball to the guy because he's not a good passer. And I could see him easily hitting this. So I'm going to take the 3 units on it. Green Bay versus Colts. Malik Willis over 29.5 rushing yards. And that is my favorite pick of the week. If that does happen, we'll be doing a giveaway as well. And so stay tuned for that. But let's move on to long shot parlays.
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
All right, first long shot. I don't think I hit a single one last year.
We didn't hit one single one.
I know I was like one leg away.
We also went like crazy with it over and over and over, and then towards the end we started pulling back on how insane.
I went back and forth, but there's a couple of times I almost hit. Anyways, I got a 4-legger this week plus 1,141 odds. So I'm gonna pull from my 2 prop bets. So I'm still gonna take Jefferson under 80.5. Pretty much I'm betting on a sweep for the most part. J.K. Dobbins over 55.5 rushing yards. I'm going to put 2 other props in with this. I'm going to take Rachaad White under 45.5 rushing yards. The dude cannot run for his life. People like him in fantasy, he can catch the ball. Dude is straight butt cheeks. I want to say his average yards per carry is 3.4.
Yeah, Bucky looks way better than him. He'll take the work from him.
Do and a half. I'm not even. I know he's going to get work, but I don't care because he plays.
No, I'm saying Bucky will get majority of the carries, I would say.
Not this week. No, definitely not. He'll still get a crap ton of work. It's just
they play. It's a tough matchup.
Awful
Detroit.
Matchup. So they play Detroit, who I love. At their line,
run defense,
and even their linebackers are so on the ball that
best
this man's
rush
going to get swallowed up the moment he touches the ball. So I don't even care if he gets 14, 15 carries. He's not 45.5. That's how bad he is.
Yeah, I like that.
I got Jaden Daniels over 197.5 passing yards. So this is a tad high for him. We all know he's a rushing QB. He showed in his first week of the NFL. However, they get to play the Giants. The Giants just got torched by Sam Darnold. If Sam Darnold can do it, Jaden Daniels can do it. He has enough weapons that are young, good hands. It only takes one breakout play, and he should be close to it. As long as he doesn't rush for 100-plus yards, I don't see how he doesn't hit this line versus the Giants or the Giants. Honestly, it should be a pretty high-scoring game because the Commanders' secondary is trash, too. And well, their whole defense is trash. But I see Giants are putting up points.
Both teams are trash.
Commanders are putting up points.
All over.
It's just a matter of can Daniel stay in the pocket long enough to get to his good receivers. I even like McCaffrey, the rookie. So we'll see what he does, but I think he can definitely hit it. It's a low line for any QB. So we'll see what he does. He's got the arm.
That gives you a plus 1,100.
Yeah, 1,141.
Yeah, another quick note on Jaden Daniels. I believe their head coach said that they did not game script for him to run that much. They don't like him, or they wouldn't like him to run as much as he did last game. I believe he got like 80 or 90 rushing yards, mainly because they drafted this dude where they drafted him to be their quarterback. But I think they need to also understand that in college he was the rushing quarterback that, like, is like a Michael Vick or
Yeah.
Jackson. So like that is what he is.
And
it's crazy to think his line was at 30 and he got like 80 or 90.
I'm not. I guess one thing against my bet is I also don't like the offensive coordinator, which is what's his name from the Cardinals? Goofy looking white boy. Why am I blanking? Cliff Kingsbury. So when he played with Murray, he wanted to run the QB more. A lot of people think he was a high paced offense, definitely, but a lot of people think of him as like, oh, he throws a lot. He really didn't. If you look at the stats, Murray was more of a just high pace, get the ball snapped. Let's maybe scramble for something or throw a short yardage, stupid screen. So that's the only thing I dislike is I do not trust Cliff as the offensive coordinator calling the plays.
All right, moving on to my long shot. This is basically a bounce back. I got 4 legs. Amon St. Brown over 79.5 receiving yards.
Can't believe it's that high still.
Yeah, it's crazy it's this high, but it is what it is. We know what he can do. And versus the Buccaneers, I can see this actually being a game. Like if anyone's going to be able to go in a shootout with Detroit, it would be Bucks because Baker loves to just sling that journey. And that's like you just talked about. Rashad White's memo is to just catch the ball. So they literally just have receivers all over the place and they can actually stay in the game, even though Detroit's defense is amazing. So Amon might still need to be used, and there's no way they don't go back to him. Yeah, Williams. Yeah, the hamstring.
Or ankle. I'm thinking about AJ. Ankle.
Regardless, it's in his legs, so it'll slow him down. He's a very fast, deep threat as well. Wide receiver, we're talking about Detroit, Williams. I forget his first name now. Jameson Williams, J-Mo. But either way, I've taken Amon for the first leg, Calvin Ridley for the second leg, over 46.5 receiving yards. I believe he only got like 30 or 40 receiving yards last game. This time he plays the Jets, which the Jets secondary you could think is very good. But if you know the Jets secondary, it's mainly just Sauce Gardner, and he isn't, unfortunately, coached correctly in my eyes. They say they might start doing it more, but usually he just sticks to one side of the field. He doesn't move to the wide receiver one wherever the wide receiver one moves. So if you have good coaching on Titans, they'll be smart, move them away from Sauce Gardner. And then if Jets don't adapt to that and just let Sauce Gardner stay on one side, then that could be the downfall when you give Calvin Ridley an opportunity to go up there and get it over and over and over. I believe he had like in the 10s targets last week. If not, it was like 9. So he's been hyper targeted. He is their dude on Titans. So I could see him easily going over 46.5 when you're talking about wide receiver 1. 7 targets. So he only caught 3 catches for 50 yards, is that what it says?
Yep.
3 catches for 50 yards on 7 targets. You're going to tell me his line's now at the 46.5, and he can't get more than
just
3 catches. But like I said, it's all about how they coach it. If they get him away from Sauce Gardner, I could see them easily doing it. And then my third one is Brandon Ayuk over 48.5 receiving yards. Brandon Ayuk had a stinker. I believe he only had 2 catches. And they just didn't really look towards him other than in that end zone where he dropped the ball. They didn't really need him either. And I believe now, although Josh made a good point that Vikings played Giants week 1, so maybe that's why their defense looked good. I still think Vikings linebackers are actually very good and can put pressure on San Fran. And either way, you have CMC out again. Obviously, we know what Mason can do, but I can see Ayuk getting the ball. And like I said, this is more about bounce back redemption tour for all this. It's a long shot. And then I got the one that I really pissed about because I drafted my fantasy, Marvis Harrison over 58.5 receiving yards.
58.
I think that's excessively high too, considering he only had 1 catch.
That's crazy.
But hey, that just tells you that they know something we don't know.
Slam that under until it hits.
Yeah, exactly. But they maybe they know something that we don't know, and they're gonna start targeting him more and getting him in this game. But it will also be a division matchup versus the Rams. That should be, I wouldn't say shootout, but back and forth over and over. Very pass heavy. and they ran the ball a shit ton and gave all the work to Connor and check downs over and over last week. Cardinals did. So I can see them trying to change it up, trying to get it down the field more if they want to stay in this game versus the Rams, even though they're favored at home. And that gives me plus 1,100 as well, just like Josh is.
What, dead even?
Nah, 1162.
Oh,
So it's
right
a little
over
bit
me.
more.
Right over me. All right.
Yeah, but it's a bounce back tour, like you said, and like I feel when I made the bet, that it is very juiced receiving yards for all of them. But there's obviously a happy median. Yeah, they're the best players, and there's obviously a happy median as far as they went trash the first week, and now hopefully the second week they bounce back and then go off like they normally should. So we'll see. Both have 1,100 odds of the two long shots. And to recap our picks, we got Justin Jefferson under 80.5 for Josh, J.K. Dobbins over 55.5 rushing yards for Josh. And then you got the teaser 49s plus 4.5, Texans plus 3.5, Rams plus 11.5. And for me, you got Demarcus Robinson over 41.5 receiving yards, Cortland Sutton under 42.5 receiving yards, and my favorite one, Malik Willis over 29.5 rushing yards. So hopefully all these hit. If they do, like we said, we'll be doing giveaway.
Sweep it out.
And look forward to all of our reels and any other thing we have going in the future by following all of our social medias at Leather Helmet Fandom. See you guys next week. Have a great NFL week 2.